Ahoy hoy YouTube modeling community, it's a lazy-eyed modeler here in the Woody Workshop. Just want to bring you another Toss the Sprue. This will be Toss the Sprue number 34. To start off with, I want to send thoughts and prayers out to everybody down in Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, everybody that got hit by Michael, especially Kenny. We heard from Papa Dan last night that Kenny and his family are okay. Their house is still standing. It has some damage to it, but he's doing all right. That's good to hear. Hoping Dr. Cranky is doing okay. We haven't heard from him that I'm aware of. And Pappy, hope you're doing okay out there. Anybody in the path of that monster storm, we're thinking about you and praying for you. Hope you're doing okay. I mean, it's always been a concern to us that you know, our online friends are down there getting beat by these storms, but we now have a niece who's living in North Carolina, and so we're even more aware of these storms now that that she's down there, you know, because she's not near the coast, so they don't get too walloped too bad, but I think they're near Durham. Of course, I didn't write that down. I don't have it memorized yet. They've just moved there recently, but we're certainly much more aware of the hurricanes now when they're coming, because they're going to usually get some of the side effects. Fortunately, the weekend that Michael hit, she was in D.C., but her hubby was at home with her cat Chowder, and they were without power for a while. I don't know how long yet, but they were definitely without power. So anyway, hopefully everybody's doing well down there, and we are thinking of you. Moving on, I want to, a couple weeks ago I posted the Group 25 show, the models on the contest tables. I posted them, but I didn't do a wrap-up that I normally do. I'm thinking about whether I normally do or not. I know I have in the past, because I just checked Toss the Sprues 27 for something I wanted to check, and there was a wrap-up in there. Anyway, I did pick up a few items from the show, a couple model kits. One is the Der Beetle bus. Hang on. There. That should improve. Der Beetle bus. It's sort of a cartoon bus, drag bus. It's not quite as far out as the Revell Dave Deals. You'll recognize this body as a Dave Deals body. Yeah, best laid plans of men and mice. Anyway, there's the Dave Deals body. I kind of can't get my big fat hand out of there. That's the Dave Deals body. Whereas we're working on this Der Beetle bus, and this is Der Beetle bus. It's a little more normally proportioned, but not a lot. And it does have you know, injection stacks that come out through the roof, stuff like that, as you can see here. And I'll show you the sides here. So it's still a cartoon bus, not quite as far out as Dave Deals buses, but same idea. Just thought it was a neat kit. Saw somebody had it on sale for a good price, so I grabbed it. The other kit I picked up is the Phantom van. Picked that up mainly to have the chassis and floor for a Motor City Resins earlier, like 72, 73 van that I have the resin body for. I also picked up these little things, and I'm afraid I didn't prepare well, and I'm sorry, Dirk, if you watch this for the rattle, but we're going to take this little thing out. Military modelers might be aware of these, or people who do dioramas might be aware of these, but they're by Green Stuff World. And what they are is, I'll see how close I can get it, and hopefully it focuses. Now look at this. There we go. You see those? Those are maple leaf shapes. And what happens is, in the back of this, you put a sheet of paper or a real leaf, and you punch it. Now this is going to drive the poor thing crazy, but you punch it, and put it here. Oh, screw the whole thing up. And you can see it punching. So what it does is, basically you can take paper, colored paper, or you can paint paper, or you can take an actual leaf, and these are, I picked them up from Alpha Abrasives. You guys may have heard of them. Anyway, they mentioned if you spray a leaf with hairspray, it'll help it last and whatnot. And then you can use these punches to make leaves for a diorama. So I have these maple leaves, and I have a set that are oak leaves. I don't know if you'll see it through the plastic, if it'll focus. I know if I hold things in front of my hand, in front of my face, it won't focus properly later on. Anyway, so far it's still recording properly. So I picked those up. They'll be great for dioramas. At a meeting a year ago at TAPS York Region meeting, somebody had been showing us the same thing, and I thought it was neat, and never really thought more of it until I was at the Group 25 show and saw them selling these. I actually might pick up different shapes still. And if you've been with my channel for a while, Toss of Sprue 27, I showed a couple of gifts I received at the show last year from I was going to say a listener, a watcher, somebody who watches the Lazy Eyed Modeler's channel, as I'm here in the Woody Workshop. Nigel, last year he gave me 2 loads of wood to go in the back of a scale model pickup, and they're really neat. I haven't built anything for them yet, but I still intend to use them. Well, this year he saw me, and he gave me this nice block of hardwood. You can see the hardwood here. It's covered in paper, but it's nice hardwood, nice and level and straight. So if you're doing a chassis or something like that, you can use this for to make sure your chassis is square, or trying to see if, like this Dave's Deals bus here is very warped. You can't tell looking at it, but it's warped. If I try to put the roof on, it won't. So I mean, I could try to use this to help when I'm trying to straighten the body out, different things like that. And he also took Reese's Pieces, a box from Reese's Pieces, and made stacking boxes. All this fiddling around is because I'm trying not to put it in front of my face because it screws up the camera every time, but it's 4 stacking boxes. Be great for storing your parts, or arranging, like the black parts in one box, silver parts in another box, etc. Thank you very much, Nigel. I appreciate that gift. It'll come in handy. That's what I intend to use it for, is putting different colored, once they're painted, in the different boxes, so I know where I'm looking for stuff. Thank you so much for continuing to watch the channel. I hope you still enjoy it, and thank you so much for the gifts. The camera glitched again. Sorry about that. So this is part 2, I guess. I was just thanking Nigel very much for the gifts and for continuing to watch the Lazy Eyed Modeler here in the Woody Workshop. Thank you for the gifts over the last 2 years. Okay, moving on. I just wanted to share a quick little thing that happened on this past Saturday. We had the last tour of the Model A owners of Canada, the Huronia Wire Wheel region. Yeah, let's try that again. Huronia Wire Wheel chapter. It was their last tour of the season. It was a fall color tour season. It was a great tour. Unfortunately, my Model A is still not on the road yet, so I did it with my Model A Honda CR-V. Anyway, it was a great tour, and at one point we encountered a Back to the Future moment. We were just coming into this little village in Ontario here called Bellefontaine, and it's near the forks of the Credit River. Anyway, we're just coming in up to a corner in this little village. There's 8 Model A's, and actually there was a Rabbit convertible with us in my car, but we just get up to the corner and people are taking pictures like crazy of the Model A's, and then they don't know which way to look because all of a sudden at the same time, and this was not planned, a tour of the DeLorean Club or whatever, there was about 10 or 12 DeLoreans that were pulling into town at the same time as our Model A's were there. So there were a lot of cell phones out and people busy taking pictures, but it was just really cool to see all these old Model A's intertwined sort of with these DeLoreans. And there happened to be a couple other cars, an old, I think it was a 67 Mustang, and another car that had nothing to do with either group, I don't think, that happened to show up at the same time. So there was a real Back to the Future collision there, sort of, and it was really cool. You had to be there to, I guess, to get it, but it was neat. I thought it was neat. My wife's rolling her eyes as I'm busy geeking out, you know. I just want to mention the dearly departed. I shouldn't have washed my mouth before I came out here to do this video. I mean, really. Anyway, want to mention the dearly departed on behalf of Chris Gortel. His Slant 6 airbrush packed it in. It's a very sad moment. I would say let's have a moment of quiet for the departed. But this video is already long enough. He did a very cute thing on his channel for his airbrush, and it's the scene from the Wrath of Khan where Spock has died and they put him in the photon torpedo and fire him out from the Enterprise. I thought that was very appropriate, especially with Scotty's bagpipe music there. So that was neat. If you haven't seen it, go check out his little video on the dearly departed Slant 6 airbrush. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about in this Toss a Sprue segment is, have you ever had an idea for a car, a build, and you never got around to it, and somebody else comes up with the very same idea? I've had it happen before, and one has just come across my desk, so to speak, that I never thought anybody else would come up with. And so here's the story. Back in 2004, Revell released this kit, the 66 Chevelle wagon, and I was part of Group 25 at the time, and every year we did a same kit build. And so my plan ended up being I was going to use this kit, and I'm sure I have an open one here somewhere because I did start on it, but I can't find the box at the moment, but it's that kit. I was going to turn it into a vehicle that resembled the vehicle from Fantasy Island. Now, if you know Fantasy Island, and I know a lot of the younger people here may not have watched it, but if you know Fantasy Island, they had a Plymouth Volare or a Dodge Aspen, I think it was a Volare wagon, where the roof had been removed and a cloth covering was put over top of it. It was like a dark red with a cloth red and white stripe roof on it. This is sort of a takeoff on the little Fiat, I want to say Panda. That might be the wrong term, but they had the same idea with the Fiats. It came from the Fiat, and VW, I think, had the same idea with the cloth roofs for use at resorts and whatnot. In the case of Fantasy Island, they used a Plymouth Volare. Maybe it had rich Corinthian leather, and you older guys will recognize that reference. Anyway, that's what I was going to do with that kit for the group build. I never got it finished. I don't remember how far I got since I can't find the open box. And I even have the material here somewhere, but I was not spending half my afternoon trying to find out where that was. So I thought, nobody else will come up with that idea. Nobody else is going to come up with that idea. That's brilliant, and I can still build it, and everybody will be amazed. Until I got contest cars from Combat Publishing, from Scale Auto, and there you go. Right there. Exactly what I had planned to do. I planned the roof a little differently, but that's basically what I planned on doing. So much for that bright idea. I don't know if I'll ever do that project now, but it's interesting. Somebody else thought of the exact same thing many years later. 14, well, this is from 2017, so, you know, not quite 14, 13, 12 or 13 years later they came up with it. I just thought that was neat. I love this magazine, Contest Cars. I mean, it's pricey, 15 bucks or whatever, but to me, printed pictures, like anything on the internet doesn't have it over printed pictures. I'll never, I don't think I can ever see me changing my mind on that. So I always buy this. There's so many great ideas. They're nice, clean, clear pictures. The internet just isn't the same, but if you have the bucks and you want a good time, I mean, I drag this all over the house for weeks after I buy this, constantly looking at it. So anyway, I think that's it for now. Okay, I really hate this thing with this camera or my program, whichever it is, that it only goes so far, and if I hold things up, it screws it up and it starts juddering and whatnot. So I have to keep doing sections of a movie. Anyway, that whining aside, that's it. That's what I wanted to talk about this time. That should keep us busy for a while. I'll probably do another toss of Sprue relatively quickly just to cover upcoming events. I'll have to see. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this chat and information. There again, thinking of everybody that was in the path of Hurricane Michael. Take care of yourselves. Keep modeling, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye now. Serious. 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 So we're recording. There's nothing happening.